So this is the famous unlimited Salatim, and this is the view from the rooftop. Today I'll be dining at Laser Wolf. It's a famous Israeli restaurant that's originally from Philadelphia, and they now have an NYC location. The NYC location is located above the Hoxton Hotel in Williamsburg. Yo, this hotel lobby is actually pretty nice, so I'm gonna do the live reactions in here. I'm here for lunch since it's much easier to get a lunch reservation compared to dinner. It might look a bit empty since it got here at 12 PM, but it still fills up quickly after a bit. It's a rooftop restaurant, but you don't need to worry about the cold in winter since the place is covered, and they also have heat running. The menu concept is simple. You pick a meat option from the grill, and it comes with 4 small dishes, pita bread, and hummus, which are all refillable. If it's dinner, the price is higher, and there's 10 small dishes. This is the Salatim, which is a variety of small dishes served before a meal. It normally consists of dips and salads. For today, there's pita bread and hummus, beets, beans with kale, cabbage, and Israeli sour pickle and olives. I love hummus, so let's start with that. Make sure to get a nice scoop when you dip. This hummus has some olive oil, so it should be rich. The bread is soft and it's fluffy. The hummus has some olive oil in it, which is really nice, and the olive oil is very rich. The hummus is very smooth and creamy. This can fill you up very quickly, so do be careful. Time for beets. Beets are supposed to be earthy and sweet, but I'm not the biggest fan of them. They kind of remind me of medicine, and until my taste palette evolves, I probably won't be able to enjoy them. Next up is beans and kale, and man, these beans are huge! The beans have a tarty flavor, and then they just taste like normal beans. The kale starts off a bit salty, and then it has that same tarty flavor. Overall, out of all the Salatim, this one was my favorite. Next up is cabbage. The cabbage has that distinct cabbage texture, but I was very surprised to see that it was very minty. It reminds me of the minty version of Israeli salad, but unlike the Israeli salad, it doesn't have the diverse flavor profile. I do wish that I could taste more of the natural sweetness of the cabbage instead of just that strong minty flavor. Last up is pickles and olives. The pickle is salty at first and then it's sour. The sour taste profile is what lingers on as the aftertaste. And as for the olives, I'm not the biggest fan of olives. I can't really tell you why, I just don't really like the taste profile, and I can't explain. On to the grill food. This is the Keves kebab, which is basically lamb meatballs. I was warned about the small meat portions, but you won't leave Laser Wolf hungry. The waitstaff said it's 100% lamb, and that looks about right. The lamb meatballs come with some tahini, which is a sesame-based paste. You can also dip it in hummus, but I'm not sure if that's traditional. The lamb has that distinct gamey lamb flavor, so you know they used real lamb. I'm not sure what the dip was before I asked the waitstaff, but it had a really earthy taste profile. I kind of preferred the lamb meatball without the dip. I also tried dipping it in the hummus. I'm not sure if that's really traditional, but I kind of enjoyed it. The other grill option I got was the salmon shislik. From the eye test, it looks like there's more food for this option compared to the lamb meatballs. I'd recommend you to squeeze some lemon on it so it adds a nice sour and acidic touch. The salmon isn't overcooked and the color looks good. The salmon is very soft and tender, but I'm pretty sure it's sourced from the US since it doesn't have that distinct sweetness like salmon from Norway. The salmon also has some crispy salmon skin on top, which is pretty nice. For some reason, I can't taste any of the lemon I squeezed on it, which is kinda weird. Even though the salmon doesn't taste like my favorite type of salmon, I still enjoyed it. The grilled meat also comes with some rice. The rice has some herbs, and look, at the end of the day, it's rice. I'm not really sure why I'm reviewing normal rice, but here we are. The rice has a pretty refreshing taste from the herbs, and it's pretty good even on its own. But at the end of the day, it's still rice. It complements the meat very well since it doesn't overpower the flavor of the meat. The final bill comes out to be $100 after tax and tip, or $50 per person. It's not that outrageous, since you can eat so much that you skip dinner. Anyways, here are my final thoughts on the restaurant. If you're only interested in meat, you'll be disappointed. You're better off going to an Uzbek or Turkish restaurant to get cheaper and bigger kebabs. The meat was good, but it wasn't the best I ever tasted. I thought the pita bread and hummus was great. I loved how creamy and rich it was. The Salatim was good, and I'm sure if I grew up eating this type of food, I would love it a lot more. You get a lot of Salatim choices if you go for dinner, but it's more expensive and harder to get a dinner reservation. The views and vibes are great. It's perfect for dates or group hangouts. Thanks for watching. Have you ever tried Israeli food? Leave a comment below and check out the video on the end screen for more food reviews.